Sinistra Anticapitalista was born in 2014 from the end of Sinistra Critica's political experience. The main political features of our organization are the internationalism, the anti-capitalism, the eco-socialism, and feminism. We define ourselves as a revolutionary organization because we believe in the central role of the working class in the construction of a revolutionary process towards socialism. Before and during the pandemic, in fact, the working class proved its power to demand social rights through strikes or demonstrations. According to these theoretical considerations, we think that a crucial part of our political work is our presence in Opposizione CGIL, that's to say the left area of CGIL, one of Italy's major unions. We conceive the working class as composed by male and female workers in both social reproduction and production workplaces, oppressed and exploited in the name of profit. We also believe that the anti-capitalist perspective would be rough and incomplete without neither feminism nor ecology. So we constantly try to raise the awareness about these fundamental topics, read obviously in a Marxist key, especially among workers and students. Before the pandemic, we moreover used to be present in a lot of workplaces where workers were fighting for their rights. For example, before the pandemic, some of our comrades were involved in the strike that took place in Martor, a factory in Turin, and after the lockdown, some comrades participated to the demonstrations organized by the teachers in the whole Italy, where they were demanding a safe comeback in the schools in September, and they were also affirming the cruciality and the importance of the school as a space of democracy. But there were a lot of other demonstrations and strikes along the whole territory of Italy. When instead the lockdown forced us to move our political activity on the web, we spoke about several topics such as precariousness or the role of the capitalist state in the economy, or the link between capitalism and pop culture, etc. And we made it in some live recordings on Facebook that were organized by the youth sector of Sinistra Anticapitalista. Finally, we organized other live recordings where workers have been able to speak about their working conditions, and then we tried to promote an internationalist glance, organizing some conferences with intervention by Daniel Tanuro and Paul LeBlanc.
We define ourselves as a feminist organization because we reckon that patriarchy and capitalism, as well as their bond, are our enemies and the causes of gender oppression. We define ourselves as feminists because we want to fight and defeat patriarchal system that, as we know, is based on a relationship of power of men over women, and that concerns every man and woman transcending their social condition. However, capitalism and patriarchy are deeply tied, even if this bond is not exclusive, because it already existed before the privatization of the means of production and wage labor. But it is structural and instrumental indeed. The forms of class oppression are strongly related with the forms of gender oppression. The capitalist system uses gender oppression and discrimination to its own advantage. Lower wages, precariousness, blackmail, care work that weigh on women are the material consequence of this tie. Because of this reading of patriarchy and its connection with capitalism, we define our feminism as anti-capitalist. In fact, defining ourselves feminists is for us a necessary condition, but it is not enough, because we think that women's fight against male power cannot be completely effective if we don't challenge not only the patriarchy, but also the social and economic system to which capitalism is tied. At the same time, we know that patriarchy is not a capitalist invention. In fact, the patriarchal system existed before capitalism. However, we assume that capitalism gets mixed with it by sexually dividing the work between men and women. Men are assigned to the production, while women to reproduction. The social reproduction or care work is what patriarchal system naturally assigned to women. Capitalism exploits it to its own advantage without effectively recognizing it as work. That's why we define ourselves anti-capitalists, because we fight against all the hierarchical orders, and first of all, the one that sees the building of a power of a class over another one, in the context of the juxtaposition between capital and labor. During the pandemic, we were forced to carry on some activities on the web. For example, we organized a conference where we spoke about the link between the spreading of the pandemic and the problems concerning the condition of women in households and in workplaces. In fact, quarantine has increased domestic violence and worsened the condition of women in their workplaces. In Rome, the feminist collective is building a help desk to face this kind of needs, exacerbated by the pandemic, in order to create a cozy space and a reference point. This aspect is crucial for us. There is no oppression that comes before another one. Our enemy is capitalism as much as patriarchy is.
We call ourselves an eco-socialist organization because the social and ecological crises are the product of a single cause, capitalism. And as the law says, progress must be reoriented to make it compatible with the conservation of the planet's ecological balance. Progress must not be understood in the context of capitalist productivism, but as a collective and qualitative progress. It is useful to reach the goal that a transition program is studied. This implies, among the various battles, also the one for the reduction of working hours, because the increase in free time is the condition for the participation of workers in the democratic discussion and change. Our organization moves towards this direction with union proposals and struggles. There are also experiences of eco-socialist activism linked to the organization, such as the Rome Eco-Socialist Collective and the Milan Collective, that are active with the publications and conferences. The anti-capitalist leftist youth collective during the quarantine period activated itself on social networks by giving several conferences which also touched the eco-socialist topic.